And we're live. It's kind of dark. Hopefully the computer is going to fix itself. Oh man, the color is really strange. Huh. Hey Phil, good to see you, man. Boy, that color is just bizarre. Huh. Well, it's technically the same room as the last one, but it's just I swiveled in the last one. You are very welcome, Marquis de Sang. I'm glad that you are enjoying the full standee version. Hey, Dustin, good to see you, man. Sorry for the color on this, guys. I'm not sure why my computer has decided that it wants to be orange. That's interesting. Not sure why it's. Hey, John, how's it going? Yeah, glad you could make it, Dustin. That's awesome. Yeah, I know, right? I did not. I have not changed color since the last time, but for some reason my computer has decided that we're going to be orange today. So it's a good question, Phil. It's a good question. Uh, oh well, whatever. Anyways, well, thanks, Darth, and you bet. Uh, I appreciate you guys being here. Well, I guess we might as well get going here. I'll double check that we're good on the campaign page and everything. Double checking. Should be. Oh, yep, there we go. Showed up. Okay, cool. Yep, so we should be good to go. Stoltzy, good to see ya. Okay, cool. Glad to hear it, John. Glad that's working. Man, that's gonna bug me. Oh well, that's okay. We'll just keep going. It's either that or I kill the live stream, and I don't know that that's worth it. So, so how are you guys all doing today? Everyone having a good week so far, and everything going good? So, for those of you who are newish here, tired from finals. Yeah, I bet you are, Stoltzy. So we're not on Facebook again because just can't seem to make it work. But with doing both, but we'll see. Maybe with the next one. I don't know. John, that is definitely an idea. So basically what you're saying is we should combine Yahtzee into Dawn of Madness. I like it. I say we go for it. What do you guys think? No, that doesn't help at all. It's better on. Uh, oh, John, that's a good question. Um, and you might very well find out tonight, actually. So keep posted. Why not add a mousetrap contraption? Ooh, that's a great idea, Marquis. Oh man, I really like that. We could have like throughout the game, you're building your mousetrap, and then you're catching the abomination in it or something. Yes, yes, I like that even better than Yahtzee. You know what we're really missing in this is some hippos. If we had hippos and marbles, this game would be awesome. Um, I'll have to talk with Roger about that. Um, yep, good plan there. Good plan there, Phil. Gluttons, there you go. Very hungry malformations. Yes. um, Oh, okay. So on a more serious note, Dustin has a serious question here, not relating to hippos or gluttons or Yahtzee or uh, any of those. Don't see your comment there. That was good. We spent 5 turns setting that thing up, and it just destroyed it in one move. Uh, okay, first of all, so Dustin, your comment about the funding backpedaling. Um, it's certainly not pleasant. We don't like it, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. And at least this is happening post Black Friday, rather than pre Black Friday. Because if it was pre Black Friday, we would be in a world of hurt. But yeah, right, Phil. um, but since it's post Black Friday, I mean, it still sucks. But oh hey, Baylock, good to see ya. Um, glad you could make it. Um, but yeah, so I mean, yeah, it absolutely sucks. But it is what it is, and we'll get past it. Um, so, and like we said in the last update, no stretch goals are going to be relocked or anything like that. So, it's just it is what it is, and we're just going to do what we can to push through it and get over the hump. So, um, anyways, um, so let's see. Okay, so Darth Veggie, you had a couple questions here. You mentioned multiple times that combat is not physical combat, hence no weapons. 2 questions about this. One, as an author, how would you narrate a combat scene in Dom? What is actually happening? And 2, can the mechanisms, e.g., cards, named accordingly, that one intuitively grasps the narrative that is represented by the game mechanics? That would make the mechanics less abstract. So the way I would describe combat in Dawn of Madness, Darth Veggie, is it's this is not a dimension of physical being necessarily. Like physical is a part of it, but at the same time, it's also a very conscious. It's almost like being in hell. But so oh hey Russell, good to see you, man. But anyways, so you're in this other parallel nightmare universe that is not strictly consciousness, or it's not strictly a physical realm. And so things like shotguns and that sort of thing are not going to necessarily do you as much good. So what's actually happening is the sorry, lost my train of thought. The world you're when you're attacking something, you're using your own conscious mental ability to do that. You're siphoning off power from the other world. You're siphoning power out of yourself, and you're channeling it into whatever you're trying to attack. So that's also why, like, there's the different domain rifts and that sort of thing. Sorry, just saw the most recent comment. But anyways, um, so the attacks are it's more like almost like psychic abilities. That's not exactly the right word either, but that's maybe closer. Like it's like you're channeling and funneling your energy to weaponize that energy to wipe out whatever you're attacking. And it's actually the same concept with the abominations. It's just that the abominations require much more than, say, the terrors do. So you have these. Um, okay, sorry. I keep seeing the comments. That keeps distracting me. But so so that's why the resistance cards come in, is because when you're attacking the abomination, it is an entity that is beyond the terrors, far beyond the terrors, and the only way to really hit it is with a channeled burst uh, to try to do it damage. So hopefully that explained that a little bit. And if not, feel free to let me know in the comments there. Um, I can't help it, Russell. Yep, easily distracted. But so hopefully that helped answer that a little bit. If it didn't, let me know and I'll go into it further. And for those just joining us, sorry about the weird orange glow on everything. I have no clue why my computer has decided that we're going to be orange today. But it did. So, oh well. Okay, so let's see. What was the next one? Glad you're looking forward to the game, Dustin. I'm really glad you are. So, John, you somehow relate AR or dimension. Is that odd? I'm going to say no. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but I'm going to say no. um, and James says Divinity oddly is up. So, yeah, I think there's a few reasons for that, James. First of all, well, we did the Black Friday thing. So, I mean, we had a huge funding increase right in the middle of the campaign that almost no one ever has. I mean, it's basically unheard of for a campaign to go up as much as we did in the middle. So I think that definitely plays into it. And actually, I think that's a major factor in it. Because then people who came into the game and they they wanted to get the deal, but they weren't necessarily sold on it or whatever. And so then they bailed on us later on. But Divinity didn't do anything like that. They didn't even have an early bird. And plus, they're also fueled by the video games because the video games are extremely popular. And so I'm sure that as people are hearing about the video games, that is also pushing them forward, giving them a marketing avenue that even like Awakened Realms doesn't have with the Great Wall. So I mean, that's just my 2 cents on that, but I have a feeling that that's kind of what's going on there. So anyways, Dos Della Rosa asks, how does the gameplay push the fear you want the player to feel? It seems very tense, but I hope to feel real fear when playing. I do. I hope you do too, Dos Della Rosa. From just pure game mechanics, I think it's difficult to feel real fear in a board game. However, from the really, really messed up stories, my hope is that you definitely feel fear from this board game. So we're pushing that forward with the game mechanics through like the abomination. That's why it's so important for me that the abomination is not easy to kill. So when the guys were like, "Hey, what if we had it to where there are no resistance cards at the start of the game? You have to find them all." I was like, "Yes, yes, please," because now you have an unbeatable force barreling down on you for the first several rounds, probably, or at least until you find some of the resistance cards in the stories. Um, so, uh, yeah, I think that the main tension in the game is going to be caused by the abomination. Um, and well, and then also the malformations when the malformations come up too, because, but once again, that ties in with the story. So I think that the story is really what's going to drive people to um, at least be creeped out and hopefully be actively scared and be like, nope, nope, not reading anymore. Nope. But yeah, so hopefully that answered your question there a little bit. Um, uh, James, he is just easily distracted all the time. That is so true, James. You're absolutely right. You're right, Marquis. The orange is awful, but I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. Let's see if taking the hat off does anything. Maybe it'll like, whoa, it's doing something. What the heck? Focus on, yes. Find the blue. Find, what is it doing? It's like a Halloween kaleidoscope thing going on. Okay, anyways. um, uh, yeah, Russell, I think that that's also part of it too. I just saw your comment there about Divinity being helped with the Project We Love tag. That is huge. I mean, it is. It is huge. It means that their game shows up in so many other places, as does Great Wall. But yeah, we were not loved by Kickstarter. So yeah, that has absolute. Wow, look at that! It's not. Oh crap! I spoke too soon. Anyways, um, that has absolutely hurt us. Definitely. Um, yeah, hopefully so. Marquis just saying. I just saw your comment about making bank in the pledge manager, whatever. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, that would be awesome. Um, yeah, Russ, I hear you. The with the stupid Kickstarter is getting, yeah. But anyways, um, uh, can we get an all in orange card? No. Mentioned in the storybook. Oh man. Oh, there was another one I was supposed to mention in the storybook too, wasn't there? I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was the meat teddy bears. That's what it was. Uh, um, um, so, Russell, just saw your comment there. If you don't feel actual fear, you will at the very least get to know how Byron's wife feels when you start saying, dude, WTF, where do you come up with this sick and twisted stuff? You're not wrong. A lot of the times I actually wonder that too. I'm like, even some of the stories I've posted on the Kickstarter, I've been like, where did that come from? That is so messed up. Um, but anyways, yes, I get that a lot. A lot. So Bakir slash Baylock. The project is perfect now. Love your changes. However, KOA has made some very valid suggestions on the update page. Are you considering them? They would have to make sense from a gameplay perspective, Bakir. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. If you'd prefer me to just call you Baylock, I can do that too. But We're like one of his suggestions, I remember thinking, yeah, that could work. The others I wasn't as sure about. Um, but yeah, we certainly haven't discounted them at all. Um, but I'm not positive all of them would work. But and that comes to kind of what I've been saying, where we're not just going to make changes just because people have suggested changes. It has to actually work from a gameplay perspective. So, but yeah, hopefully, we'll take a look at all those, and we'll see what is actually going to work in the game and what's not. His first suggestion, I think it was about like making bad things happen on world shards. Well, actually, that does happen on world shards with devour tokens. But that's an interesting idea, and I could see something like that maybe working its way in. But um, yeah, sorry, distracted easily by comments. But some of the others, um, I'm not sure as much. So we'll see. Um, and honestly, that's more up to Roger and Chauncey if they can work it into the game more than me. But um, I'm only up for changes that I'm really excited about. So, um, anyways, yes, the color out of space. You're absolutely right, Phil. It's exactly what it was. But luckily, it seems to have departed us for the most part now. Oh man, Darth Veggie. Well, yes. Thanks for being here, even for the short amount of time, my friend. And we will definitely talk with you later. So, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for being a part of this. So, Byron's face without a hat is scaring the camera. Yep, pretty much. Um, yeah, it could have something to do with the contrast in the background, Cole. It also could just be my camera sucks. That's possible too. Um, but uh, sort of a Stephen King vibe, Dos de la Rosa. So yeah, I am a huge Stephen King fan personally. So I mean, I think that in ways so one advantage our stories have over Stephen King's is a lot of the time horror is Bashir. Okay. I will call you Bashir. Sorry, Baylock. um, but kind of a Stephen King vibe. Um, one advantage to having really short segments. So yeah, it's a complete story, but at the same time, you're working through really tiny short segments. Is a lot of the times horror does much better at a smaller length. That's why you can still have like a 5 minute horror movie that scares you, um, maybe more than a 2.5 hour movie, or that sort of thing. So we have the advantage to where we can have really short snippets that focus on one particularly really scary thing, and they don't even necessarily have to connect as much with the rest of the story, because it is kind of a fever dream. So all sorts of things could be happening in that fever dream. So because of that, we can do all sorts of just really messed up creepy things, and that's why I've been able to hit so many potential triggers even in just like writing one of the books. So I'm definitely on a current list somewhere. Yeah, you're probably right, Russ. I probably am. um, but anyways, uh, okay, so moving on a little bit here. Oh, hey, Sharky, good to see you, man. If only for a minute. Okay. Anyways, um, so Phil asks, now that we've seen most of the models, care to say which one is your favorite now? Uh, it's probably Numina creation. Um, I I I I really love this model. Like a lot. Like, so much. But, I mean, there's a lot of them I love. I mean, I love the Inquisitor. That's like 3 names ago. I love Eminent Glory. I just think that model is, pretty awesome. The 4th Malformation or 3rd Malformation for Linus, I think is great. Oh, and I also should I show this to you guys yet? I don't know. I don't know. Um, okay, sure, why not? I also just printed this one out. This is Numina Cosmos, and I'm really impressed with this one. So I actually haven't removed all the supports and everything. This is one of the reasons the live stream was late, because I was trying to get it finished. So like if you look down here on the bottom, you can probably see like some of the support still left or whatever. But yeah, so this is Numina Cosmos, which I think is just kind of a beast and super cool. I actually like it more in person than I thought I might. Um, it's yeah, so it's really cool. Oh, size comparison here too. Might as well. Um, so we've got so they're pretty much the same. They're pretty close to the same size. They're both too big for my printer. So there's that. But yes, I could see that, Cole. Though I think when you get a closer look at it, you're actually going to see some really strange things going on with it. Like, yes, Phil, you're right. There are some great renders of these things out there. But so it does definitely have kind of a dark young vibe. But when you look closely here, these are actually like galaxies. They're like spinning galaxies or something there, and then there's planets inside them, then obviously tentacles and more planets, and then there's like screaming faces down on the legs. See, where's the one screaming face? There's the one screaming face. uh, and uh, so this one is there's definitely a lot going on with this guy that you might not notice on first glance. Like I really like all the little planets swirling around in it and stuff, and the different kind of like spiral galaxies, and so yeah, very very weird and very different. But okay, one sec. I see some good comments down there, but yeah. So John, okay, wait, going back a little bit. Okay. Oh, there's some good questions here. So Duncan, first of all, welcome, Duncan. So glad you heard about us, and thanks for joining us. So you're asking how much has it been influenced by Call of Cthulhu? How could we not be influenced by Call of Cthulhu? I mean, it's huge. I mean, Sandy Peterson is definitely a role model of mine, and yeah, I love Call of Cthulhu. I actually just started getting into the actual game not too long ago. But you know, prior to that, obviously, it was still majorly influential, and you know, all of Lovecraft stuff is hugely influential. But so yes, there's definitely Call of Cthulhu in this game, though this game is much more I keep saying this, but it's much more Fever Dream than Call of Cthulhu. Because Call of Cthulhu, it starts off pretty normal, you know, and then it slowly progresses and gets darker, more twisted, that sort of thing as the game goes on. In this, you're pretty much just in dark and twisted land from the very beginning. There's just No other there's no other setting apart from Dark and Twisted. So so maybe there's not quite the sense of creeping crawling horror necessarily, though there is to a certain degree as you learn more about the characters' stories and some of the things that they went through and some of the things they did or didn't do or whatever. um but so yeah, so there's definitely some similarities, but definitely a lot of differences too. Um, but yeah, so hopefully that helps a little bit there. I will say I started playing the solo Call of Cthulhu books as we were working on Dawn of Madness, um, and those kind of helped convince me that something like this game could really work. But so then also, do you feel this will be better solo or cooperative experience? It depends on your group, Duncan. Um, if your group is one that's really into killing stuff, this probably isn't going to be their game. If your group is into a narrative driven story experience, then this will be great with multiple players. Um, there are advantages to playing with multiple wanderers, um, in that like you can do fusion synergy actions where like you're passing cards back and forth and helping each other through domain cards and stuff like that. Um, but it's also perfectly playable solo, like with just one wanderer. So it really depends what you want to do. If you just want to dig into the story by yourself, or if you want to get creeped out with a group. Um, so hopefully that helps a little bit. But I guess I didn't really answer the question. But oh, Stoltzy, Numenor are my favorite abomination family. More Cthulhu mythos. Yes, definitely. They are my favorite abomination family. I can pretty much say that in hands down. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Rage. I love Masquerades, but I really love the Numenas. So Russell, I just saw your comment that every time I mention Chauncey, you think about Pokemon. I'm sure he'd love to hear that. And I think the orange went away when I took my hat off. Go figure. I can't explain it. But anyways. So Dos De La Rosa, I just saw your comment here. Sweet, I'm excited for that scenario one trend of hardness, catastrophic awesomeness. Yeah. I think we'll capture that. So I mean, this game has a little bit of an advantage in that you're not going to necessarily just die and the game's over, but you could still do pretty bad, and it will definitely impact you for the rest of the game. Yes, I love the Watchers as well, John. I really love the Watchers. They are also some of my favorites. I'm guessing a lot of you guys saw the Watchers before, right? Let me know if you want to look at them. I have all of those printed off. Oh, dude, Russell, you talking about makes you think of the Event Horizon Hell machine? Oh man, I could totally see that. It's got like the swirling rings on it and stuff. Yeah. Eminent Glory is going to be a very interesting character. I'm really looking forward to that one, especially since Linus has an ability, at least currently. I mean, we'll see if it's 2 OP or whatever, where he can summon Eminent Glory, because they have a very tight relationship, those two do. But anyways, Bashir, just saw your comment there about we don't need brushes anymore. We need brooms. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, ours aren't necessarily as crazy as some of Come-On's, but yeah. Okay, James Lewis. Oh, great question, James. James is wondering who comes up with the miniatures. Are they designed by you, or does the team read your stories and make them? Oh, okay. So it's a little from column A, a little from column B, James. So, like a lot of the minis actually existed years ago before I started writing anything. Like the Malformations did. Um, some of the Abominations did, the Wanderers did, that sort of thing. So I basically just got to take those characters and throw them into stories. But then there are other characters like Spider Lady, which I don't think that's her official name, but hey, it works for now. But so Spider Lady came right out of one of my stories. And I just kind of thought of her. She's not a throwaway character necessarily, but I didn't really think of her as a main character, but then the team loved her so much that hey, now she's the final boss. So, uh, so yeah, a little bit of both. And there's another one or two that were definitely influenced by my stories and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that's all really cool. It's cool to see, and a lot of the art comes from my stories. Especially the stuff that David Romero's been doing for all the Coda cards and stuff like that. That's all pretty much straight out of my stories and stuff. So that's very cool. Kind of cool to see something you create take on another dimension. But Marquis de Sang, do you think there will be an automated industrial process to create painted minis in the near future? Man, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? You could probably get like a robotic arm to do it for you, maybe. I don't know. Am I going to print Numina Gate before the end of the campaign? Yes. Yes, I am. That's going to be one of my next minis I paint. I'm hoping to get through all of the Numinas before the end of the campaign because they're just that cool. The problem is getting them to fit in my printer. Because they're so big. They're bigger than my printer plate. But the other problem is I keep having them print halfway and then I run out of resin. But so I have to reprint them then, so that takes longer. But yes, my goal is to have all of the Numinas printed by the end of the campaign. And maybe some of the others too, if I can. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Sorry, guys, I lost my place. I'm looking for it. Oh, okay, Russ. And then you were saying hands on these minis. Yes, I can't wait for you to get your hands on these either, Russ. There's several of our fans who I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to see what they do with these. Call of Cthulhu's real world cosmic horror. Dawn of Madness is if you being thrust into an otherworld Arkham horror style of being lost in time and space. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Um, oh, that's cool, Bashir. You've been. Oh man, I just saw your comment about you playing through the Mask of Nyarlathotep. That's really cool. How is it? Let me know. I'm very interested. I'm trying to get kind of a role playing group together, and when I say that, I pretty much mean I'm trying to force my family to do it with me. Up until this point, I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to do RPG stuff, but I really love what I've gotten to do so far. So, James asks, "Is there anything stopping you playing all 4 solo?" Nope, nothing at all. You can play as many Wanderers as you want solo, James. I like. It's not a good example because I did so terribly, but I did a playthrough video where I used all 4 Wanderers. And personally, I think it's the way I would play solo. Because first of all, it gives you a longer campaign. So you're going to experience more of the story. but there's also a couple advantages, currently at least, to playing with more wanderers. So yeah, it just depends on how many you want to manage at a time. I personally am perfectly fine managing four. Some people only want to manage one though, and they can do that. There's not a problem with that. So the other advantage to doing one is you're going to get more of that wanderer's story. You're guaranteed to get that wanderer's ending. So if you wanted to work through all the different endings, see all the different story scenarios, that would be a good reason to do with a solo rather than with multiple wanderers. But you can do as many as you want. Dos de la Rosa asks, will the storyline of Madness make it into space if Dom is as successful as you anticipate? I can't comment on that, Dos de la Rosa. However, I will say the future setting for the universe is not in space. It is on Earth. And it's dealing with the fallout from the Kadath facility. So that's all I can really say about that. But is a space entry possible at some point? Maybe. But we're also really looking forward to showing people what happened after Kadath. So yeah, Phil, you nailed it in your answer to James there. Okay, sorry guys. I'm just looking through comments here real fast. And Duncan, you bet. I'm glad I could answer your questions. And if you have any more, feel free to ask them. I'm always available to answer questions for folks. So absolutely, whatever I can do to help, I want to do. And now we've reached the part of the conversation where everyone is talking about watching me. But okay, so who watches the watchers? Yes, exactly. Well, thank you, Sebastian. I just was reading your comment here. I was unsure about pledging for a project that will come out in 2 years, but your steadfast commitment to making the best possible game and how you've treated the community makes me proud to back you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sticking with us and for trusting us. We are going to do our best not to let you down. So thank you. Russ says, out of interest, what amount of backers are you looking for when it comes to making a version of Monstrum and Profundum for Dom? Oh, glad you like the Spider Lady, James. So Dos de la Rosa is pretty close there when you say 500. We're definitely looking at probably, I think we've got, what, 200 comments on there, something like that now? And not all of those are yeses either. So what we don't want to happen is for like 100 people to say yes, and then 50 people actually buy it, and then suddenly we've got this expensive product and only 50 of them going out. So if we had, 500 would be fantastic. If we had 300, we might still consider it. Where we're at right now, it's still kind of iffy. So we'll just have to see what happens with that further, if more people are interested in wanting those boxes or not. Especially because we can't really offer it like we did with Profundum as a stretch goal. So that automatically, like, honestly, the price is about the same. It's just that, you're now paying for the Profundum box. Okay, so Little Bean, just so I have confirmation, is the game backable in Pledge Manager as well? Had to drop my pledge to $1 due to personal reasons, but really looking forward to purchasing this in the near future. Little Bean, as long as you're in the campaign for $1, you're good to go. We totally get that. This is a terrible time of year to launch a Kickstarter. It's an abysmal time of year, And we were forced into it. We had no choice. But we totally get that, there's so much going on this time of year. And eh, we just really appreciate you still being with us. So even if it's only for a dollar right now, and you will absolutely have access to the pledge manager for a dollar. Um, so yes, in answer to your question, definitely. Um, uh, but So Stoltzy, if you're having a hard time watching this, um, we will have this recorded. So if you miss something important, you can always come back and watch it again. Um, um, so if you have a hard time, just don't feel bad about it. You'll get the details. Um, But so Bashir, good to know. That's good to know. That campaign looked awesome. Speaking about Masks of Nyarlathotep, it looked really cool. So yes, I would expect to die a lot. That's kind of par for the course, I think. Um, uh, Phil, yes, your wishes are going to come true at some point in the future. Absolutely. And actually, we're going to get into some of that in Shattered Seas. Not that you heard that from me, but anyways. Um, Bebo. So you must have just seen that I wasn't wearing the hat. So, okay, I just saw your comment here. This must be Byron's malformation. He's trying to soak up and trap us in the other world, Fedora Gate. Um, the reason I'm not wearing the fedora, I started off the video with it, and I looked weird orange. And as soon as I took the fedora off, the weird orange went away. So that's why I'm not wearing it. um, and Shara Fanow, where do you get your inspiration for this crazy game and stories? It's a great question. We don't know. No, I mean, so me and the whole team, we are horror nuts. We love horror. We love every form of horror, and that's why you have Deep Madness. That's why you now have Dawn of Madness, because we love horror. We adore it. It's, um, it is one of our favorite things. So that's, I mean, we take a lot of inspiration from all sorts of games and movies and stories and books and all over the place. Um, and then just from our own twisted minds, because apparently we're all kind of messed up. So hopefully that kind of helped answer your question. I will admit, a lot of the times I'll be writing a story, and other authors say this too. I think Neil Gaiman has said this, Stephen King has said this. There have been a number of authors who said something like this: that when you're writing a story, sometimes something will just happen, and you're like, "What? What? Why?" So sometimes the answer is no idea. So hopefully that helped answer your question, sort of. Um, Russell, the future setting will be at the building on the beach from the novel with its moving, rearranging rooms and walls. I can guarantee you it will not be. Not to spoil anything in Shattered Seas, but that's definitely a negatory there. um, is there any Phil says, is there any benefit to taking less wanderers? As in Deep Madness, you got extra action tokens. At this point, no. However, Phil, I would not be surprised if something like that works its way into the game as we play test it and develop it further. Like for example, the tokens did not exist in the original Kickstarter for Deep Madness. That came along later. So I would imagine that something like that will come into the game as we progress, if it's needed. If it's not needed, then it won't happen. Because like I said, we're not just going to throw anything in there just because. it has to have a specific reason. But if it's going to help the game, then yes, I would imagine that extra action tokens or something like that could work its way into the game. Stoltzy, I'd love a future Madness game where we have all hell breaking loose after Kadath. Yeah. Great old ones being made from people interacting with the sphere, new cults forming from this, Golden Dawn losing their minds with all of the anarchy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Yep. Um, yes, and I see you mentioning here about the storage solution boxes. Yeah. Uh, like I said, hopefully it'll happen because if enough people want it, then it would, give the total a nice boost. But um, um, we also don't want to, yeah, like I said, we don't want to force people to do it or anything like that. And if they don't want it, then we'll see. Larry, I support Deep Madness, and I'm supporting this one. Can't wait to get this game and see whatever other games you guys can come up with. Thank you, Larry. We really appreciate that. We appreciate you being here for Dawn of Madness and for being there for Deep Madness. We literally wouldn't exist without people like you. So thank you. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, Marquis just saying, yeah, absolutely. Everyone's running low on money. I mean, it is what it is. It's that time of year. I got DM from a third party, so I added the Faces package to my pledge. Sweet. Glad to hear it, Software Wolves. It's what it's there for. Well, that and everyone who didn't back Deep Madness at all. So, but yes, glad you could grab that in the pledge there. Yeah, Black Friday. I hear you, Little Bean. That Black Friday is always killer. Well, thank you, Enshara Fenau. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I probably am. I'm glad that you enjoy seeing my passion. The rest of the team is a lot like me too. So it's kind of funny when you get us all together, which doesn't happen very often because we're in different countries. But still, I lived 10 years with poltergeist phenomenon, and you don't know what true horror really is. Whoa, Marquis de Sang, that is a comment right there. Dang, I would honestly love to hear more about that. Whoa. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, James Lewis. How long will the pledge manager be open? Do you know what at this point? We are going to leave the pledge manager open for as long as we possibly can, James. Whoa. Okay, finishing this question to James, and then we'll get to Marquis' comment because that's crazy, man. But so yeah, the pledge manager, we're going to leave it open for as long as we possibly can for this one. So I mean, I would say minimum of like 4 or 5 months, and a maximum of a year. We're going to have it open for as long as we possibly can, so that as many people can jump in and can add stuff as they want, little by little, without stressing yourself out and breaking the bank and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's going to be open for quite a while. Right up until we have to send in those orders, we're going to leave it open. And even after that, I mean, as people probably saw with the Deep Madness reprint, we, even after the pledge manager closed, we helped out as many people as we possibly could in adding an order or adding to their order or whatever, because we don't want anyone to be left out. So yeah, hopefully that helped answer your question there. And then I just saw here at the bottom, thank God for the log pledge manager. uh, you bet, Stoltzy. Glad we could help. We feel ya. um, so Bashir, though, have you ever heard of Cult RPG? For many reasons, Dom is very cult-ish, more than Cthulhu-ish, actually. If you didn't have a look, I have not heard of Cult, Bashir. I have not. Uh, I'll have to look into that. That sounds really interesting. Um, and then I just saw your next comment down, so thank you. I appreciate that. um, that means a lot. Um, I wonder if your Golden Dawn are going to become the next version of Umbrella from Resident Evil Horror instead of bioweapons. I mean, you're not exactly wrong, Russell. There, I think the big difference is that Umbrella's. I don't know. Is there any religious aspect to Umbrella? I'm not sure there is, but apart from that, yeah, there's a lot of similarities, especially like with the Lang Corporation and stuff like that, which is from Deep Madness. For those who are wondering about that, Lang Corporation was Deep Madness. It's not. This is long before Lang Corporation came into existence for Dawn of Madness, but um, and the rest of the team is like you. That's scary. Well, I mean, they're not all exactly like me, but especially me and Roger. When you put me and Roger together, it's kind of terrifying. And then he'll read something and he'll say, "That's not far enough. Take it farther." And then I'll see something he's doing. I'm like, "That's not far enough. Take it farther." So yeah, we definitely goad each other on. um, uh, so yeah, we're quite a group. Um, so Marquis, though, I am very interested in your comments here, my friend. Uh, I would honestly like to know more about what you're talking about here. Um, and regardless, I'm glad you got through it. So, um, so that's great. But man, that is interesting stuff. Um, um, Okay, so James is saying, "Thanks for the answers. I'm still trying to get all the Deep Madness played and put in the boxes. Never get everything to." Yeah, it is. So I got my Monstrum box, and then I promised everyone I was going to like show pictures and stuff. But I got it like just a few days before Dawn of Madness started. So it's basically just like sitting in my living room, half filled, as is Profundum. Um, it's kind of sad, a little bit tragic, but yeah. You're absolutely right. Um, oh man, I'm glad you enjoyed the extra stories and stuff in the last art book, Phil. That's really great. All praise the Lord, Zeiss. Yeah. And Haas and all the others. Haas is the main one in this one. Like you guys might have actually even picked up already. I don't want to get into spoilers. But so, okay, in one of the stories I just posted, one of the rooms that we actually blocked off was Haas storage. And if you read through the art book, you'll get an idea of who he is. As well as if you read the intro to the rule book that we have out right now. So yeah, they're definitely back there pulling the strings. Um, So I missed out on Trudvang and Eternal Adversary because their pledge managers came out while I was still in school. So nobody it hurt to watch. Oh man, do I hear you, Stoltzy? There have been so many games where I just like, I want you. I want you so bad, but my bank account says no. So yes, I totally hear where you're coming from. Um, you love a Golden Dawn answer to Albert Wesker. Yeah, I mean, technically, we kind of have a couple of them. They just don't last really long. um, but but yeah, we there's. I think that this could definitely be considered, especially going forward into the future, umbrella meets cult type thing. Um, Okay, Software Wolves, thanks for the hard work on this project. I'm looking forward to getting it. Gotta run. Thanks so much for being here, Software Wolves. Great to have you with us. And thanks for being a part of Donna Madness. So uh, have a great rest of the day. Um, yeah, Stoltzy. So your comment there, and all the other Umbrella people mutated, but instead of infecting themselves with viruses, they mutate themselves via the sphere. You're not completely wrong. You're not completely right, but you're not completely wrong. And I'll leave it at that. Uh, um, oh, oh, Phil. Oh, that's a great question. So Philip is saying that reminds me, bugging me for months. Art book says 2 unapproved subs. Enter Kadath after the core investigators equal who was on those subs. You are absolutely right. Well, okay, so the reason for that was so you had the one team that was the core box investigators. So on those other 2 subs, my thought was those were all the rest of the investigators. So you had Jacob Clark, you had Frederick, or uh, oh man, his name just escaped me. The loner guy. He's also a sub driver. Dave is the sub driver, and he's a sub driver. He has the dreadlocks and the gun built into his body. Anyways, so all of these people were on those other subs coming down to Kadath. That was how I could kind of, from a story perspective, tie all of those in to the story. Because otherwise, they're just random investigators thrown out there. But I figured, hey, these other subs are coming with Amanda Weaver on them, with Jacob Clark, and with the other not wanderers, investigators. So that's what the subs were for. Good catch, by the way. That's exactly who they were. It was all the other investigators flooding into Kadath. Okay. Jeremy asks, do you get your ideas from reality or nightmares? Jeremy, that's an interesting question. I actually don't dream much. I think because I get so much, or rather, I don't remember most of my dreams. So no, I can't say that I get a lot of them from nightmares and stuff like that. I know a lot of horror writers do, but I kind of think that I get so much of my junk out during the day that maybe I don't need nightmares. I don't know. But I guess in answer to your question, probably my head more than anywhere else. um, oh, Marquis, you keep throwing in these comments, and they're so interesting. Oh, and I want to know more. Anyways, sorry. I realize that's kind of getting off topic, but as for Cult, I have heard of it, but do not know much about it beyond a video game or 2 in the setting. Oh, there's video games, huh? I didn't know that. I don't think I've even heard of Cult, so that's interesting. Okay, so Duncan, this is a great question. Will the expansions be available for direct order or at retail in the future, as I'm looking at the Otherworld pledge currently? Okay, so I discussed this a little bit earlier, but the pledge manager is going to be open for a long time. So what that means is you can add to your order over time. You could upgrade to the all-in if you want to. You could add different expansions if you wanted to, but you won't be locked into just you know, I can only get this right now, so that's all I can get. So I think that probably the best bet for you is going to be to just add stuff over time in the pledge manager, and hopefully that's going to help you out there. The problem with as far as direct order or retail, direct order maybe. And that was kind of the whole thing we were putting out with the Kickstarter exclusive ish is if we have stuff left over, we might at some point sell it on like a web store or at conventions, stuff like that. But apart from that, it's not necessarily going to be available at retail, at least not for the foreseeable future. If at some point we're able to do it, that's fantastic. I personally really want to get into retail. I think probably more than anything because it would be cool to see my game on a shelf. But but at this point, it's not doable. So I wouldn't wait for retail. I would just go ahead and get it in the pledge manager later on, if there's something you want to grab. Oh, Larry, that's so cool. Thank you. I'm so glad we were able to help you do that. Larry's just saying that he was one of the people that that we got into Deep Madness late. So glad we could do that for you, Larry. That's awesome. And thank you for being a part of that and for getting into the game and for being here for Dawn of Madness. That's great. Okay, is the redesign of the board going to be more drastic than what the update implied? Says Dos de la Rosa. It's going to be pretty drastic. So, first of all, the art's going to change completely. Next of all, the row of cards along the side is going to go away, which is probably not going to be too big of a problem because it almost sounds like the malformation decks might go away. We'll have to see how that works out. But then obviously the world shards are going to be significantly bigger and taking up much more space on the board, which is why we had to move off the card decks or the rows of cards there. And then apart from that, there's going to be more connective stuff between the different areas. And then there's also going to be a lot more stuff on the world shards themselves. So the encounter cards actually are probably going to go away for the most part. We're going to combine that information onto the world shards. So there will still be deep and realm encounters, which are the ones that were on the conscious realm before that merged into the game board. But they will just go on the world shards rather than having their own slot. And the portal encounters are gone completely. Those are going to be built into the world shards. So now when you go to those different to the different world shards, you'll be able to get into an encounter that specifically matches the art for that world shard. So it won't just be a randomly placed encounter anymore. It will now be, this is where I'm going in. This is what I'm doing. So so it'll be a lot more immersive in the final game board than the original game board, or even the original game board before that, or whatever. So hopefully that helps answer your question a little bit there. It's going to be pretty drastic, and we're going to rely more on world shards even than we had before. Some of the actions on world shards might go away because a lot of the actions were tied to like inner offerings and stuff, which are now going to be more like special abilities for characters. But and also the memories have now been separated off of world shards because now you're getting into these portal encounters on the world shards themselves. So and then we'll have to see, like as someone mentioned, King of Average had a couple of ideas, like putting traps and stuff on the world shards, which kind of Devour tokens already do. But I don't know how that's going to work on new world shards or not, but so hopefully that helped answer that question a little bit. It's going to have quite a few changes involved in the new game board. We'll still have the mental capacity track, the event track will still be on there, but a lot of the rest of the board will end up changing. Um, okay, Russell, I'd love to see a dossier or structure chart of Golden Dawn in art book, visual guide to how large the organization has become, starting from before Dom through DM, and then leave future lines blank. That's a great question or a great thought, Russ. And that's definitely, huh. I don't know if it's doable or not, but it might be. And if it is doable, it would be really cool. So yeah, we'll have to see what we'll have to see what we can do with that because that's a really interesting idea. Because yeah, like at the start of the Deep Madness art book, it's basically just like a few guys. Then it grows. Then they wipe out most of their organization. Then it grows again. So yeah, it would be interesting to see kind of a history of the Golden Dawn. Um, especially since they go from that to like owning Lang Corporation and a bunch of other stuff and having a bunch of puppet organizations and stuff. So yeah, that would be cool. Um, uh, yes, Jacob Clark is awesome. Dos De La Rosa. I completely second that. Um, uh, Yeah. So Philip, okay. So just saw your comment here, which was relating to the story with the subs. So yeah. Well, and not all of them came in on those subs either. So like, oh Franklin Christie, that's his name. So Franklin, he brought in a sub. Actually, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I made him the sub driver for Rise of Dagon. If I think so. So I think he actually brought the sub that Reagan and Meredith were on. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken about that. It's been a while since I wrote that, but yeah. So that's where all the other investigators were coming from. Where's those subs? Um, Bashir, that does sound really cool. Just reading your comment about cult and kind of the headline for it. That's very interesting. Um, okay. What's been the most fun part of this campaign? Um, oh, that's a great question, Phil. This campaign has been a roller coaster. I cannot tell you how many weird ups and downs there have been. Like even behind the Russ, you made it. Can we start over? Welcome, my friend. Good to see you here. Um, um, but okay, so what's been the most fun? Yeah, so even behind the scenes, there have been just some crazy, crazy things going on that we're just like, how the heck are we going to deal with this? So the campaign has definitely had its share of extremely stressful moments. Um, the most fun part, though, I don't know. It's been really fun, kind of getting to brainstorm with backers on stuff. Um, Apart from that, probably Black Friday, and I don't mean Thanksgiving. I mean Black Friday. um, the Black Friday day, that was a ton of fun for me. Much more so than Thanksgiving, which was the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Uh, but um, but yeah, probably those two things have been the highlights of the campaign thus far. Um, and we'll see where we go with that. Maybe there'll be something else really cool coming up here. Um, but um, Oh, Jeremy, so you've had experience with this stuff too, huh? That's interesting. Um, and that's also interesting that you guys are into stuff like this because sometimes it seems like um, people who have experienced things like that, stuff like this, is maybe a little too close to home. So thanks for being here, guys. That's really cool. Okay, Larry, do you have a website? If not, do you plan to get one? Yes, we do plan to get a website, Larry. We have the domain names already registered. We just haven't put it up yet. So I'm trying to prod the team to get that going once the campaign's done here, at least in some form. So yes, we will definitely have a website. We do not have one yet. Uh, let's reboot the live stream. Yeah. And now we're back to the very beginning. um, if the board and cards were glow in the dark, we could play in total darkness. That is a true statement, Marquis. I don't think it's going to happen. There was actually another game that tried that. It didn't go so well for them. The Faceless, which actually is a great game. I highly recommend you check out The Faceless. But yeah, they tried the glow in the dark thing, and yeah, it never really panned out. But um, oh, good to see you, Dos de la Rosa, and you bet. I'm glad I could answer your questions. So have a great rest of the day, and thanks for being here, my friend. Um, okay, so let's see here. Okay, so David, or Dave Blue Band. Yes, hello. I recently pledged and I'm still catching up. Is there a major new mechanic you've discovered wanting to implement since starting the campaign? Glad to be a backer for such a cool concept. Thank you, man. That's awesome. Well, and thank you for just pledging and for being a part of this. So for me, the coolest new mechanic that we've integrated is probably um, it's not really new, but it's a revised mechanic. I love what we have done now with the um, the abomination and the resistance cards at the start of the game. So previously, the resistance cards, there were three of them for the central wanderer, and then there were also the malformations could also be kind of forced into helping you through memory shards. Um, um, but the with the new mechanic, what we're going to do is the resistance cards, you don't have them at the start of the game. Everyone can have access to them, but you don't have them at the start of the game, which means that the abomination cannot be hurt at the start of the game. For me, this is just like, mwah. I love the fact that you cannot hurt the abomination at the start of the game. To me, it makes it much more intense and much more scary. And it also sets you on this madcap drive to get resistance cards as quickly as you can. So for me, that's probably the most exciting new mechanic that we've introduced since creating the game, or since launching the Kickstarter, I should say, based on backer feedback and that sort of stuff. And then there are some others that I think are going to work really well too. Like the abominations were originally going to be out at the start of the game. Now they're going to be in later in the game. So I think that that's going to be really cool too. Also, in making the abomination harder to kill. I'm all about making that abomination hard to kill. And the other thing is too, some of the resistance cards you're going to get now are going to be tied to a certain malformation, so you can't use it until that malformation's on the board. So I think that's going to be really interesting too. So yeah, that whole mechanic there, that is definitely my favorite new mechanic, or revised mechanic, since the start of the campaign. And that was just a couple days ago that one came out. So who knows what's going to come up next. But and then I think it's also going to really help. We had a separate game board called the Conscious Realm. We've merged that into the actual game board itself. So I think that that's going to help streamline play a lot too. um, and cut down on setup time, stuff like that. So that's probably Hey, Sharky, welcome back. Um, that's probably a secondary mechanic that I'm really excited about. Um, so hopefully that helps. Um, the book reading part might be a problem. Yeah, with the glow in the dark stuff. Yeah, you're probably right. And that probably would be a problem even with Phil's comment about the candlelight and stuff. um, but yeah, I don't think the spot UV is going to happen either, Amy. I mean, it's a great idea, but it really didn't work well with Faceless. They had this grand design come up, and then it just it bombed for them. I felt kind of bad, but at the same time, their game is fantastic. So check it out. Um, uh, glad you like that, Phil. Yeah, that's definitely probably my favorite change that we've implemented so far. Uh, the dirt basement under your house with a gas lamp. Yes. uh, uh, whew. Man, Jeremy, that's an interesting comment there too. Oh, so much. Oh man, you guys, your comments here. These are awesome. Um, Okay, Bebo, what do you guess? How long will it take before you can visually present us the new and revised version of DOM? Ideally, together with a few new tutorial and playthrough videos. It will probably be a little while, Bebo, because we don't have any of it made yet. We have, like, I think that they're trying to get the board done before the end of the campaign, but pushing it. Just knowing how long it took us to get the last board done, it took weeks. So, but the so I don't know that it's. I doubt it's going to be before the end of the campaign. It'll probably be as we're developing the game later on in like the pledge manager. Um, but yeah, it'll probably be a little while before I can get that out because we have to make all that stuff, and that stuff takes a ton of time to make. Um, and also, we're also revising a lot of the cards and stuff too, like with the malformations moving from their decks to more of a terror type card. It's going to it'll definitely take some work, but um, so Stoltzy, um, yes. In a second printing of Dawn of Madness, should such a thing happen, we would absolutely have new abominations, new terrors, new wanderers, and because we definitely want to keep building on this game if people like it. So, I mean, obviously, we're talking 2 or 3 years down the road here, but that's definitely our hope. Would be that we would continue to build on this game, create new wanderers, create new stories, create new craziness for people, and just continue to build on it. So, yes, if in the future that should happen, I could pretty much guarantee all of that stuff would be in there. um, so Russ, I see your comment here. Was scaling based on player count discussed at all? So the only thing we really discussed was if like player tokens would be used like we did in Deep Madness. And my answer was, I don't know. But I suspect that if it's necessary, that it would be implemented, something like that. But the As far as scaling, player scaling, I have a feeling that's something that's going to come up much more in the future as we're play testing it and refining everything. That we'll have more of that scaling involved. Because, for instance, like right now, some have mentioned like the fusion slash synergy ability, where you can use a domain card for another player. Um, oh, all right. Have a great rest of the day, Solzi. So good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us for so long. Have a great rest of the day, my friend. um, but um, so as far as other scalability stuff, I suspect that's going to come in a lot more during the real intensive play testing, um, and figuring some of that out as we go along there. So I don't think that really answered your question, but hopefully did a little bit. Um, like, I don't know, it might be that you would get a mental capacity boost if you're playing with one player or something like that. I could see something like that being a very usable and cool thing, and a pretty easy thing to do. Like maybe you just get this card, a condition card at the start of the game or something, maybe that gives you +2 or +3 mental capacity or something like that, depending on the number of players involved. Something like that would make real sense to me. And it would be very similar to like what Phil was talking about earlier with the Deep Madness extra action tokens that you get, that sort of thing. Um, Actually, that something like that could definitely work. I I guess I'm game designing here live on the stream. If Roger's watching, he'll be like, "Oh no, what are you promising them?" But anyways, yeah. So I'm sure that's more of that is going to happen as we progress through the game, Russ, and as we continue to refine it and that sort of thing. So hopefully that helped a little bit. And then so Bebo, I see here, difficult to answer, I know, but I have to confess the mechanics and the confusing variety of terms and components almost made me leave. That was just too complicated for me. Well, I'm glad you stuck around, Bebo. Thanks for being here with us. And we'll definitely have more coming up as to how everything works as we progress through the game, or as we progress with refining the game and that sort of thing. So, um, and as people have seen in updates, we're looking at refining terms and stuff like that. So, you should have a pretty good idea of it, of how everything works before too long into the game or into the development process. Okay. Have you guys considered putting the game on Roll20? I've never heard of Roll20, Amy, so I don't know. I guess not. But if you had some info about it, sure, I'm sure we'd be happy to take a look at it and let's see what it is, because I honestly have no clue what it is. Okay, so Sharky says, "Stoked to hear you may be doing that foggy, misty art for the world shard area of the map. Would you maybe be doing the machine artwork for the mental capacity area?" I don't know what's going to go in the mental capacity area. Potentially the machine. We also now have a bunch of other world art that is no longer being used because those world shards are no longer being used. So there's a bunch of art we could potentially put over on that side. It'll just depend what fits best, Sharky. Um, but yeah, um, as far as for the foggy misty art thing, yeah, I think that could be really cool if it's done well. Our first board actually was kind of a foggy misty thing, and people hated it. So we have to just we have to make sure that it looks really good. Um, and I honestly I have confidence in our designer. He's our new designer. He's extremely good. So I'm sure that we can make something like that work. And I kind of see it as like having like broken structures poking out of the mist, or different monsters like slithering up just barely in sight. Um, and then maybe some dead bodies that you just barely see, and really make it very atmospheric and cool. That's kind of what I'm seeing, and I'd actually like to keep kind of some of the similar colors. I don't know. I really like kind of the golden yellows that we have in our current one. I think that could look really cool in kind of the foggy thing. Um, um, but so yeah. Anyways, um, those are, okay. Thanks, Russ. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we'll it'll work. It'll all work. Like I was saying earlier, even the the extra action tokens and Deep Madness and stuff like that, they weren't there in the campaign. That was something that was added later in playtesting and that sort of thing. So yeah, I have every confidence that the scaling will work great. Um, Promise more things, Byron. Really make Roger sweat. uh, okay, well, thanks for being here, Duncan. So glad to have you with us, my friend, and thanks for being a part of Dawn of Madness. Have a great rest of the day. Um, uh, we want more gameplay things made up on the spot. Okay, guys, I've got this great idea. No. uh, where you play as the monsters. They actually made a game like that, Phil. We didn't, but someone else did. Um, Malleus Maleficarum. What's the first of it? Dark Rituals. Dark Rituals, Malleus Maleficarum. I'm aware of this game because they actually did a Hysteria from Deep Madness in it. But their solo mode was you played as the bad guy fighting against the good guys. So interesting. But I don't know that it's going to work in this game. um, Thanks, Bebo. I appreciate that, man. um, yeah, that's a cool idea, Sharky. Having it similar to the box art, where it's more like, um, yeah, actually, yeah. Maybe if we had some more like yellows and well, I don't know. Even the green works. Yeah, that could be really cool. I could see that as the board. I mean, obviously minus all the faces and stuff. But that's a really interesting idea. Huh. Yeah. That's a cool idea. I'll bring that up to the team. um, let's get that worked into Deep Madness as well. Promise, Byron. uh, well, I try to make no promises. I don't always succeed, but um, anyways. Oh, thanks so much. Oh my goodness, thanks for being here, little bean. I appreciate you staying up till 2:40 in the morning to be with us. Have a great night and sleep well. um, okay, so taking that as a promise. Oh dear. Roger, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. uh, um, um, okay, Bashir, you had an actual question. Will the art book expand the lore, or is it 100% about the art? We will expand the lore in the art book. It might not be quite to the same degree that we did in the previous one, because there's going to be so much art. Like, there's, we don't have room for story. Like, but having said that, yes, there will be art, or there will be story in the art book. There will also be some deeper thoughts, kind of like what we were trying to do with the early gameplay deep dives that we did. Um, oh, guys. Okay. um, it'll expand some of the story and stuff, for the art, and or yes, sorry, it'll expand on the story a little bit. And we'll have, like I was saying, some of the different thought processes on different gameplay things and that sort of thing. I think it's going to be a really fun book. The stories won't be as long as they were in the first art book, um, but they will still be in there. Because yeah, we like to expand the world wherever we can, and the art book is definitely a good place to do that. Um, um, what else we can pick? It's true, I am, guys. But see, so like I've got this comment thing scrolling along the side of my screen here, and I know that I need to pay attention to it because I know you guys are asking me important questions, and then you end up just saying something about if he blinks, it's him winking, promising stuff. So uh whoa, Marquis. That's very that's very interesting. Your comments are the best in this live stream, man. Yes, exactly, Bebo. What else? Yes, I consider myself to be a walking paradox. Um, oh gosh. Oh, Sharky, your comment there, that was awesome. Yep, Roger cries on the inside, absolutely. um, but yes, maybe it's a good time to sign off. I don't know. We need the promise of the next game being set between Dom and DM, followed by a game set following from DM and Shattered Seas. Ah, you guys are gonna kill me. Oh, Bashir, this is an actual question. Thank you. um, any RPG in mind in some distant future? I would definitely love some Dom universe to explore on a tabletop campaign, and you would have a blast as a writer. Yes. Uh, so we actually, there was talk of a Deep Madness RPG like a long time back, and I think, anyways, there was talk of an RPG a while back, and I haven't heard anything recently, so I don't know what the development is on it currently, the status on it. Um, it would be super cool to have something like that in the reprint or in the next reprint, if it was far enough along to Adam. I don't know if I've seen you on here. Hi, man. Good to see you. um, and if I just forgot, then sorry, but still good to see you. um, but that would be really cool to do in if we could in the third or in the second reprint. So I'll have to check on that and see what the status is, if anything's happened or if nothing's happened or if it's vaporware or what's going on with that. But yeah, I think an RPG, um, and it would actually be cool now that we have Dawn of Madness to have it like take place in maybe in like the two different time periods or places, or maybe you can go in between the other world and the real world or something like that. Yeah, it could be super cool, really, really cool. So yes, I totally agree with you on that. That would be awesome. Um, um, Stars of Madness. Not to be confused with Star Wars or Star Trek or any of the other star things. Yes, I hear you, Sharky. As we were discussing earlier, I don't think you were here at that point, but as we were discussing the Deep Madness sequel a little bit, and the next one will definitely not be in space. It's going to be on Earth, because we really want to explore what happened after Kadath. But then I don't know. In the future, anything's possible. I cannot say that Event Horizon, the board game, would not at some point happen. But uh, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the future holds. As of right now, a space setting is not in development. I can say that, but I can't say it's impossible either. But having said that, I'm definitely looking forward to Deep Madness sequel, because dang, it's going to be so messed up. Well, I mean, I guess Dawn of Madness is also pretty messed up, but this is a sequel 2021. Blink for me now, Byron. Oh no, I have to blink. Dang it. uh, I can make no promises about that. um, okay. So going back a few comments here. Um, playing a video game, playing this in the background. Good for you, Adam. Way to multitask. Uh, so, James, will Shattered Seas be on Audible with you as narrator? I strongly suspect it's going to be on Audible, James. If you were a backer of Deep Madness, I think you were. But if you're a backer, then you're already going to be getting the audiobook, actually. As to whether I'm the narrator or not, I think that's a little bit up in the air. I have no problem being the narrator. I would be perfectly happy doing it. But if we get someone better than me, then that's great too. So the big difference is I'm free, and another narrator would probably cost money. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, Bashir. Yeah, maybe even between the RPG and the boards, that could be severely cool. You are correct. And you certainly wouldn't have the problem with like Dungeons and Dragons or Call of Cthulhu, where you have to like create your own little crummy board or whatever, because we would definitely have the board, kind of built in for either setting. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. I would really like that to happen. I can't promise, but I would really like it to happen. I just want, Phil, I just want to see the normal Earth fallout directly after Kadath, which has a larger scope than deep space, as in an entire city being overrun. Oh, it's not just going to be limited to a city. But I mean, I don't know what that game's going to look like. I honestly have no clue. I just know what I want to do with the story for it. So, Jay Smith. Hey, Byron, just wanted to say I've never Kickstarted, or I've Kickstarted a lot of games, but I've never followed a campaign so closely. And it's all because, oh, well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That is so cool. Well, thank you. I I wanted to make a campaign that people were invested in. So I'm glad to hear that I'm glad to hear that that's that you're enjoying the campaign and you're having fun with it. So, thank you. Um, my mind is 2001, A Madness Odyssey. My, that could be the in between game, I guess. um, may we see more examples of what's going to be in the art book? Uh, well, okay, so Mr. E52S, go to the campaign page, scroll to near the bottom, and we have a gallery there of a bunch of our art. All of that art's going to be in the art book. We're going to have over 500 pieces of art, but we have a lot of it already in that link at the bottom of the campaign page. So definitely check that out if you want to see more of what's in the art book. Now, if you were talking about like writing and stuff, I could maybe whip something out or something. But if you're talking about the art, then yes, you can go down into the bottom of the campaign and see a bunch of it. Or you could also a couple posts ago we did the social stuff, right, with the art book and stuff. So I also put in some pictures in there that you guys, I mean, they just happen to be the right size for, like, say, a background image on your computer or something like that, if you wanted to use it for that. So anyways, oh, Sharky, that's a cool idea. I just saw yours here about wanting the Arctic setting, like Mountains of Madness in the theme. That would be cool. I don't know that that's what's going to happen, but it would be cool. I kind of think I want to go into like a suburban setting though, and have it like in the middle of a city. I don't know. We'll have to see. The most chaos would be there, but cool, James. Just saw your comment there about backed all the Kickstarters and stuff. So yes, you'll get that for you. I believe that was a stretch goal to have that for free. So you should definitely get that. Instead of a drowning dial, a freezing dial. So James and Marquis, your two comments here. That reminded me of a Christmas song I was listening to just the other day. Where the guy really hopes the sounds he's hearing is Santa Claus. He's just not sure it is. It's one of the best Christmas songs ever. I really love it. I should look up the name for you guys. It's the most. It's so paranoid. It's awesome. Dawn of Madness seems so story-driven as to be almost impossible to do much fan-made content modification compared to Deep Madness. It would definitely be tougher, Phil. You'd basically have to be willing to write fan fiction, probably. Yeah, it would definitely be tougher, because not impossible though. It would be cool to create, if there was a way to like create Russell. Oh my goodness. Just saw your comment about all my plans for world domination using the sphere. You know, it's funny. At my wife's and our wedding, we did like a little video or whatever. And normally that sort of thing is like where you're discussing how you fell in love and that sort of thing. And ours started off kind of that way, but then it ended with us discussing our plans for world domination and how this was just the first step and that sort of thing. So funny you should mention that about the all the comments there. um, anyways, but yeah, so back to the fan made stuff, Phil. Um, I think it would be possible, but yes, you're right. It would be more difficult. We'll just have to see what the game kind of ends up as later on, and if there is other things that we could do to make it more modular, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm just completely thinking off the top of my head there, but um, yeah, because it has been really cool, like seeing you, seeing other people doing the Deep Madness mod stuff. That's really awesome. Um, oh, Amy, well, thank you. I'm so glad you like how the stories are so different. Yeah, we're really trying to have all of the Wanderers feel very different as you're playing through them. Like Emily is just going to be off the wall crazy, and most of the stuff we've shown so far has been for Emily. Story content and that sort of thing. I'm trying to get something at least for maybe Catherine done or Linus or somewhere in there. But so Emily's just going to be crazy and also relating to like the bonds between twins and stuff. And then you've got like and lots of phobias with knives and needles and that sort of thing. And then Claude is going to be very different, um, focusing on abandonment and um, the slow, steady decline of where you're just everything that you thought was normal is just gone, and that sort of thing. And then uh, Catherine's is going to be really interesting too. So I'm glad that you like how they all seem so different, and that's something we're really shooting for. Or like Edward the Clockmaker. His story is going to be pretty. I think that one might be actually kind of like a punch in the gut one, like just sad, scary. I don't know. We'll have to see how all that works out. But or bittersweet or that sort of thing. Glad you're really excited about the art book there, James. That's really cool. You just had to go there, didn't you, Russ? You just had to go there. Mr. E52S, glad you found it. Good. I probably could just say Mr. E52S. That's probably better. I'll do that in the future. So, any teases on future Wanderers? No. That World War vet sounds interesting. That could be a very interesting thing. We'd have to do it in a very different way though, because just telling a standard World War story. I mean, there have been so many great stories like that, but if we could really channel something like that, yeah, something like that could be possible. But as far as future Wanderers, I mean, that's 8 books down the line. So I don't have a whole lot of input on what those future Wanderers would be like. Of course, obviously, it's cool to see Arctic. I know, right? Maybe one of our future ones will be an Arctic explorer or something. That could be interesting. Stumbled across the mountains that should not be named or visited by any person. And in the distance, the wanderer hears Tekalili. Anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go read Mountains of Madness. It'll make a lot more sense. Jeremy, with Monster and Love, people are throwing away their core boxes. Are there plans for post art of the Deep Madness boxes? I don't know. It's could be a possibility, I suppose. There aren't plans at this point. We did do some posters or art prints for Gen Con, which was from a variety of different art. We had some from Deep Madness, some from Dawn of Madness, some from Celestial. but it's possible. It's possible we could do some art prints or that sort of thing more in the future. Um, oh my gosh, Russ, you just mentioned Helix. I love Helix so much. Helix is so awesome. I was so disappointed when they canceled that show. Oh man. And the elevator music when terrible things were happening. Oh, it was so good. So good, yes. Sharky, you need to watch Helix. It is so good. uh, welcome back, Dos de la Rosa. Glad you're back. Um, oh, very cool, Russ. I just saw your comment here about the fan ideas for stories between and before and after Dom and DM. That's very cool. Um, Marky just saying. That's that is a very random comment right there. Very random. Um, uh, yes, Jay Smith. I completely agree with you. That was as soon as they said that you wouldn't have resistance cards at the start of the game. I was like, so you're saying they're invisible now? And Roger's like, yes. And I'm like, let's do it. Yes, I love that. um, so Sharky, oh man, an Arctic expansion for Deep Madness be so cool. It would be. It would be super cool. I'm not sure how it would work, but it would be super cool. Um, the problem with your comment, Sharky, is that you're assuming that anyone escaped Kadath. Not saying it's impossible. Just say the odds were not in their favor. um, any thoughts about making their attacks extra powerful to start and weaker as they take damage to build that sense of we have to find something to attack this thing with? Um, I don't know, Jay, because I also don't want them to get lesser as it goes on. So I don't know that that would work. I love where you're going with it, but I think just the fact that you can't even touch them at the start is going to be enough. That they're just rampaging around and there's literally nothing you can do to hurt them. So I don't know if it's going to be necessary to create more, make them even worse. But Jeremy, yeah, return to Deep Madness. The scientists open a portal to another world. I mean, you're not too far off, actually. um, you assume, Russ, that you have to open Kadath to let the evil out. But I've said too much. um, okay, so let's see here. Yes, so uh, um, sorry guys, just kind of reading through the comments here, seeing what. Oh man, Phil, yeah, you should probably go to bed. Uh, thanks for being here for this long, though, man. That's awesome. Really appreciate you being here. So have a great rest of the day, or have a good night, I should say, and hope you sleep well. And try not to dream too much of man-eating scorpions or unspeakable horrors and evils and that sort of thing. Uh, so have a great night. Um, The sphere does work in mysterious ways. You're right, Dos Della Rosa. Um, a mortician wanderer. Oh my gosh, Amy, that's a great idea. That would be so great. I love that so much. Oh my goodness. Mortician. There are so many things you could do with that. Uh, you could pull elements from that show. What was that show? It was so good. It was a Netflix show. And they're coming out with a second season of it. The Haunting of Hill House. You could have some of kind of those types of things going on in there. Uh um anyways, yes, that is fantastic. Um yes, absolutely, Sharky. You're right. 80 Kadath survivors probably wouldn't be quite the same. But um okay, so P49 or P4N9. Um, some of the previews seem to allude to a deep and plodding experience playing the game, and I recognize some of the mechanics are still being worked out and revamped. However, aside from the deep theme and all, are there any considerations being made toward other aspects that make the game fun to play? Any chance of a streamlined mode that may offer a faster experience at the cost of mechanics? I definitely have faith in you. Well, thank you for the faith in us. That's fantastic. As far as the deep and plotting goes, uh, this is something that I think was caused by the fact that people were just explaining the game as it was being played. Personally, I did not experience that at all. But my experience actually was much more, holy crap, what are we going to do? This thing just jumped all the way across the board and landed directly on top of us type thing. Now, my playthrough video was also not very good because I was actively trying to beat out strategies that I'd seen in my previous game that never came to fruition. So I played it really poorly in my one playthrough video. But as far as plotting, to me, the game is not plotting at all. Now, I realize other people have different opinions on that, but to me, it moves super quick. So I don't know. Maybe it was just the playthroughs. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I have a different idea of speed or whatever. But like if Sharky, you're distracting me. But so specifically relating to the faster experience, to me, I don't know what we could do to make it faster. I think the problem is really being caused by the fact that you're seeing people explain it as it's being played. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that kind of helps there. But yeah, to me, it's actually a very intense game, even without the story stuff. But I mean, some might disagree with me on that too, and obviously people have. But anyways, hopefully that helps a little bit to allay some of your thoughts on that. And if there are specific, so I see in another comment here you're mentioning that you're wanting some specifics. If you have any specific areas that you want me to discuss, let me know. We've already discussed quite a few different things. But Um, yeah, just let me know if there's something specific I can help you with as far as the mechanics and that sort of thing goes. Because as others I see are mentioning here, the gameplay has changed a lot. So if you have specific questions, please do let me know. Because I'd love to answer those for you. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so regarding the terrors, how exactly is a chapter's terror deck constructed? We know that there has to be 3 aberrations per wanderer, but I would assume you would want to limit your distortions. So actually, Sharky, that's interesting. The way it's set up right now, you can actually pretty much. I'm sure there will be a limit, but currently there's not really. So like you can mix and match whatever. I mean, they're all terrors now, but previously aberrations and distortions, you can mix them all together however you want. Apart from there are the ones that are specific, the aberrations which were specific to a given wanderer. Um, but so you have to have those 3 in the deck. But apart from that, you can throw in whatever not distortion, terror that you want, and 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 have them come out randomly. So it's not even like Deep Madness where you can mix up the different types of monsters. You can have one depression, you can have one vivisection, you can have one of the visages, and just throw them all together, mash them around, and call it good. Well, hey Russ, good to see you, man. I believe we now have 3 different. Oh, hi, Mark. I believe we now have 3 different Russes in the live stream. So, thanks for being here, guys. um, but so yeah, so as far as like the limit, I don't know what the specific limit is. Now you're going to have a certain limit because only so many are going to come out in a chapter. So it's not like so different events would spawn different monsters, different stories would spawn different monsters, different effects maybe would spawn a monster, but you're probably never going to have like 15 of them on the board at once, like in Deep Madness, where you're just absolutely overwhelmed by the monsters. Now, having said that, they're probably a little more difficult to kill than they were in Deep Madness. So each individual monster is probably more of a real threat. But yeah, I guess in answer to your question, you can mix and match them however you want to. And I don't know that there's really a specific limit on how many you can have in the deck currently. That could change as they play test and that sort of thing. But hopefully that helps a little bit there. And no, I have not watched In the Tall Grass yet. I really want to, though. I seriously want to. As soon as I get a free couple of hours, I do intend to sit down and watch that because it does look amazing. So Amy saying of a no plot survives contact with the players from D&D. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Amy. The choices in this one are your choices will completely reshape the stories. So like I know I've used this in the past as an example, but there's one particular story where normally, and there's some really bad things that happen before you get to this point, but eventually you end up meeting up with this really nice tall fellow who gives you stuff if you take it. You have to decide to take it. But if you have previously made a choice in another story, then instead of meeting that nice guy who wants to give you stuff, you're instead going to meet Emily's mom, who has no more face, and she's trying to rip her face off. She's chasing you down a hallway, wrapped in a straitjacket, and then to escape her, you have to run down the corridor full of flesh-eating cockroaches, and then the cockroaches descend on her and they eat her face. and she can finally scream. So yes, the story changes drastically depending on the choices you make in the game. Um, and yeah, it's definitely a no plot survives contact with the players type of situation. Yes. And actually it also depends on even the which player is doing it, which wanderer is doing this, as to what results you're likely to get. Um, yes, Russ, you're right. It did. Uh, um, um, yes, exactly, Russ. Russ hashtag Russ Nation. Um, Dos de la Rosa says, "Is there a wanderer that is easier to use? Maybe using a certain wanderer first, then using a harder wanderer." I don't know that there's specifically a harder wanderer to use. They all do have certain. Uh, they all have their own ability, their own. What's the word I'm trying to say? Skill sets. So their own things that they're good at, but um, um, but oh, Sharky, oh, sorry, jumping ahead comments. Um, Maybe the most well-rounded of them is Linus. Linus has two dice that he can roll in most of the different colors. I think he starts one space lower on the mental capacity track, but he's probably the most well-rounded for most different situations, as opposed to like Emily, who's tons of yellow, or Catherine, who's tons of red, or that sort of thing. So yeah, Linus might be the most evenly rounded of the characters, um, at least thus far. And plus, he does have that really cool ability where he can summon eminent glory. So, uh, so yes. um, let's see here. Uh, Bashir is asking, have you ever considered some optional hidden info between players to make things more interesting? I know it's nothing new, but it actually makes things fun, tense around the table. It never fails. I don't know that we have really discussed much in the way of hidden info, Bashir, but I also don't know that we would be opposed to it necessarily. But it would have to work well in the gameplay mechanics that we have. So, um, I mean, technically, the whole game is kind of hidden, hidden knowledge. But um, um, Marquis, you just interrupted me, man. Your comments, dude. Have a great night. Thanks for being here. Talk with you later. Anyways, um, but so as far as the hidden info thing, I mean, technically the whole game is hidden info. But I mean, I could see it maybe working. Um, but that would be more of a Roger and Chauncey call as opposed to a me saying, "Hey, that could work" thing. Um, uh, P4 N9, I just saw your comment about the trunk level pledge box, right? Perhaps on wheels. Wheels would be great. Um, and then Russ, just seeing your comment here about a Dom dice tray, I gotta say I love the idea. Oh, I wish I just got this dice tray the other day, and I thought about showing it to you guys, but I think I left it in a different room. Um, it's awesome. But yes, so I think that would be a cool idea. I think that we might run into the same question though as with the boxes of are enough people going to want it to make it worthwhile. Because I'm pretty sure we priced them in the second or in the reprint, and I think they were kind of pricey, which is why we ended up not doing it. But I could be wrong about that too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think a dice tray would be cool. We'll just have to see if it actually would work. Hey, Johnny, welcome. Glad you made it, man. Sharky. So I saw your comment earlier and it distracted me, but any progress on the Slender Man thing becoming a bigger presence to warrant its own mini? No, not currently. Unfortunately, a lot of our minis are pretty well in place. But I would really love him to be a mini. It would be really cool. Really, really cool. So we'll see. We'll see. Who knows what the future holds. I would definitely love him to be a presence. And he would be so interesting too, because he would not be a terror. I mean, he would kind of be a terror, but he'd also kind of not be a terror. Oh, he would be so cool in game. Merits. They all have their own merits. Yes, Russ, that's a great way of putting it. Yes, very good way of putting it. Bashir, you might, yeah. It is on Netflix in the US. So, as talking about in the tall grass, you might want to, I don't know, maybe like I know, right? you might want a VPN, maybe that might work, to set you at a different location than you're at. I don't know. That might be a possibility. It looks like it's worth checking into, though. It looks seriously messed up. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, P4 and 9, that sucks. I am so sorry to hear that. A root canal. Yuck. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And no worries about you having to drop that or whatever. We totally understand. Even with just the holidays and everything, root canal not taken into account there. That's yeah. But and the 313 pledge will still be available in the pledge manager if you end up wanting to go back up to the gameplay mostly all in there. Or you can just piecemeal it as you go. The pledge manager will be open a long time. So so I thank you for being with us and sticking with us and trusting us to make a great game. So that means a ton. Thank you. I choose you, throws Pokeball. That's funny. An Evo Dice Tower with Dimension logo. So I don't think that the Dice Tower is going to happen, Dos de la Rosa, and here's why. In the first Deep Madness, we actually did a Dice Tower, and it wasn't the best dice tower. It's actually cute. It's a little portable dice tower. You can fold it out and stuff, and it has a couple of Deep Madness pictures on it or whatever. But it didn't sell real well, so we just kind of abandoned it. So I don't think a dice tower is probably going to happen. Oh, Sharky, enjoy. I hope you've gotten through the first 2 seasons, because Channel Zero is incredible. Yeah, season 3, yeah, they're all good. They're all so good. Have a great time and talk to you later, my friend. Okay, anyway, sorry guys. Can you purchase said dice tower? I don't know. I don't know if any of them are still available. I think we might have sold a few at Gen Con. I don't know that we have any left. You could check eBay maybe, um, but it's not that fancy of a dice tower. I mean, honestly, it's sorry, yeah, sorry for the bad news there, but it wasn't that great. I mean, it was a cute little dice tower, but it wasn't like it wasn't like um you bet, Bashir. Yes, Channel Zero is amazing. You should definitely check it out. It is so good. Um, like I said, I watch a lot of horror stuff. So, um, okay, so I'll get to your comment in just a second, Russ. I want to see if I have anyone who I missed here. Um, oh, Amy's asking, has a final decision been made about the boxes? Not yet. Currently, I don't think we've reached the level of interest where we would say for sure, let's do it. So at this point, I think it's still up in the air. We would need probably at least 100 more comments saying yes before we did anything about that, I think. Johnny, just saw your comment here about, I'm sorry, work's been killing you, man. Um, I'm so glad you're able to get here. So, funny story, the fedora is right here. Um, but when I wore it before, the whole, oh, it's doing it again. It's freaking out. Oh, dude. Okay, I gotta take it back off. So, for some reason, where I'm sitting right now, my computer's camera made the whole screen orange. It was the weirdest thing. And so I taking off the fedora, it fixed it. I I I don't know what to tell you on that. But yeah, so that's why there's no fedora. um um They just need logos and stickers. We can make everything on brand. Yes, exactly. So we should just sell a sticker pack, is what you're saying. Yes, yeah, I would love that slender thing mini there, but um, oh man, people would be really excited about that logo there, Dos de la Rosa too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. um, uh, okay, so Russ, so I'd love to get my hands on the art prints posters you sold at Gen Con. I would love to give you the prints we sold at Gen Con, Russell. Unfortunately, I was expecting them to come to me, and they went to Florida instead, which it's kind of sad. But the so unfortunately, I was kind of hoping because I had a bunch of people who I wanted to be able to send them to, but alas. So my hope is that the next convention we do, I will be able to send them to my house rather than sending them back to Florida, and then I'll be able to get them to people who want them. So that's my hope. Um, I don't know that it's something that we would necessarily be able to sell like in the campaign, just because it would add more SKUs for not necessarily a lot more money, but so yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get those for people at some point in the not too distant future. Um, so Dos de la Rosa, what would you use to pop out baby husks? I mean, you do you. You do you. That's fine. That's no worries. I just um, the spheres and the fedora. Yes, exactly. um, maybe a survey or poll regarding the big storage boxes. Make it clear the full cost would be say 100. Yeah, right, Russ. That's exactly it. But that's kind of what we were doing with the comments was kind of a survey slash poll. And so far, it's been mixed. Like not all of those 200 or however many posts we have on there are even saying that they would buy it. Some of them are saying, no, I wouldn't buy this. So, so we would definitely need. Okay, Sharky, I'll tell Sarah hi from Kristen. Have a great time watching your show, man. um, but yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it's certainly not written off yet or anything like that. It's just, had we had 500 comments right now, then yeah, we totally would be doing them. But the number of comments we have, it's kind of like, I don't know. Okay, Johnny. Well, we'll put you down as wanting the boxes there. Honk if you're twisted too. Car decals. Oh, Bebo, that's funny. Well, so guys, any other questions or anything? Because I just realized we've been going for 2.5 hours. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll make that clearer, Russ. I'll make it clear that you can go in for $1 as long as you get them at some point. Where did I get my cool new dice tray from? Okay, I'll bring it to the next live show because I got it just like some random little show. But I do know that the people who made it had a website, so I'll bring it to the next live and we'll take a look at it. I mean, it's not scary or anything, but I really like it. So okay, I would buy the boxes. Got it, Larry. Okay, cool. Will we work with the same group of people who did it in Deep Madness for the Spanish translation? Carlo, that's a great question. I believe we probably would. It seemed like we got pretty good feedback. Oh, Bashir, why are you still on here? Yeah, you bet. I'm glad you're I'm glad you got to hang out with us for this long, my friend. So so yeah, please go to sleep. And hope you sleep well. So thanks for being here this whole time and thanks for sticking with us. That's really awesome. And you're welcome. So so Carlo, but yeah, so yes, I'm pretty sure they did great. And as you're saying here, they did great. So yes, I'm pretty positive we would use the same folks for Dawn of Madness that we did for Deep Madness. So yeah. Well, so guys, we've been going for 2.5 hours. I'm thinking we should probably call it quits. Because I'm assuming we've got lives. I mean, I don't have too much going on, but apart from writing the next update and stuff. But so any final questions or anything before we sign off here? Because I wanna get to you if you had a question or something. And if not, then we will call it a night, and we will do this again soon. Okay. Well, so Dos De La Rosa is saying peace out. So yeah, I'm so glad you could stop by, Johnny. That's great. And yes, definitely save up your questions, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability in the future. So thanks, guys. Well, have a great night, and I'll talk with you all again soon. So we'll set up the next time. I'll find out maybe in comments from you guys what time would work best for you, what day. I mean, obviously we're getting closer. So the next one, Baby husks for the loss. Uh, sorry, baby husks. I don't think they'd be as cute as Baby Yoda, though. Uh, but so we'll have to see what time will work best for the next live stream. We might try Saturday again because that seemed to work really great for a lot of people. Um, and then do another one. Then obviously the final day of the campaign. So for sure we will do one the last day of the campaign, and we will celebrate the campaign in style as it goes into its next phase. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can even fit in another one before that because these are a ton of fun and I love hanging out with you guys. So yeah, have a great night, everyone. And okay, well, okay. So if that works, Russ, then maybe we could do earlier in the day on Saturday. Yeah, so we'll see about that. Maybe that could work. No, hi Sebastian. We're just about to sign off. Uh, but thanks for stopping by, man. Oh, okay. So since you're here, Sebastian, any quick questions that I can answer for you real fast or anything? Um, and oh, James, wondering if I will have random streams after the campaign. If people want to, I mean, I didn't after the reprint, but I would certainly be open to it if people wanted to. Oh, where's the hat? Funny story, Sebastian. Every time I put the hat on, something bad happens to my camera. So that's why there's no hat. The first time I put it on, the whole screen turned orange. So, yeah, I don't know why. But, so yeah. So yeah, maybe we can shoot for an earlier on Saturday. And as far as after the campaign, I have no problem doing this once in a while if you guys want to. So just let me know. And sounds great, man. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that sounds great, James. And maybe I can show you stuff as we're developing it and that sort of thing too. That could be really cool. I'm on board for that. I think that would be fun. Yeah, that sounds like a great thing. So, all right, guys. Well, all right. So I think we're going to officially call it quits here. Unless you had any questions, Sebastian, I'll answer them really quick if you do. But if not, I'll talk with y'all. Yes, what Russ said there. So I'll talk with you guys all again soon, and I'll give it 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Bashir. That is actually a really good joke. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. Well, I'll talk with you guys later. Have a great rest of the night and bye for now.